Welcome back, my dear students. Today we are going to take the new subject, civics, the union executive, and let us see that what are the union executive, what consists of the union executive. And union executive consists of president, vice president, prime minister, and the council of ministers. There are three categories of the ministers, and they are the cabinet ministers, deputy ministers, the ministers of state hold independent charges. And let us see that the first president of India. The president is the first citizen of our country. He is the constitutional head of the state, and the executive powers has been vested in the hands of the president of India. He is the nominal head of the state in our country. He is elected through the electoral college, and both the house of the parliament members of the Rajya Sabha and members of the Lok Sabha, both the house of the parliament members. And what are the qualifications needed to become the president of India? What are the qualifications of the president of and to become the president of India? And he should be the citizen of India. He should have completed above 35 years of age. He should not hold any government salary job, and he should not involve in any criminal offences. He should be qualified for the election as the members of the House of the Parliament, House of the People, etc. And he is elected for 5 years. And president is elected for 5 years in our country. He can enjoy his position and his power in five years in our country. And we can see that. Let us see the powers and functions of the president of India. And what are the powers and functions? The executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, and emergency powers. These are the powers and functions of the president of India. Or let us see the first, executive powers. All the executive powers of the union are vested in the hands of the president of India. These powers are exercised by him either directly or through the subordinate officers in accordance with the Constitution of India. And let us see the president and other function executive powers of the president. The president has the right to appoint all the high officers in our country. The president appoints the Prime Minister of India. The president appoints the Council of Ministers of India. The president appoints other ministers, and the president appoints the Attorney General of India, and Chief Election Commissioner, and other election commissioner, UPSC chairman, and governors of the state, and he appoints the Chief Justice of India, and Chief Justice of Supreme Court and High Court, and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. These are the executive powers vested in the hands of the President of India. That means all the high officers, all the high posts in our country appointed by the President of India. And let us see that the legislative powers, he can summon or end the session of the Parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha. He can address the Parliament at the commencement of the first session after the general election. He can also summon a joint sitting both houses of the Parliament, which is presided over by the Lok Sabha Speaker. He can nominate 12 members of the Rajya Sabha with the extraordinary accomplishment in literature and science, arts and social service, etc. President's prior recommendation is needed for introducing money bill in the Parliament. Without the recommendation of the President of India, no members can introduce the money bill in the Lok Sabha. Definitely, the prior recommendation of the President should be needed for introducing money bill in the Lok Sabha. President can promulgate ordinance when both the House of the Parliament is not a session. Then he has the right to promulgate the Parliament. Sometimes in both the House of the not in the both the House of the Parliament in session. That's it. And then it's emergency powers. What are the emergency powers? The three type of the emergency powers: national emergency, state emergency, and the financial emergency. that first let us see the national emergency. National emergency is caused by war, external aggression, or armed rebellion, the whole of India or part of our Indian territory. The national emergency can be imposed for 6 months. It can be extended by 6 months by repeated the parliament approval up to a maximum 3 years. And the parliament is, if the parliament is approving, it can be extended 6 months or up to 3 years in our country. And under the national emergency, the fundamental rights of the Indian citizen can be suspended, but the right to life and personal liberty cannot be suspended in our country. These are the national emergency powers of the President of India. Let us see that state emergency powers of the President. If the state failed to run constitutionally, that is, constitutional machinery has failed, Article 356. If the state is not working according to the given direction of the Union government, Article 363, and such an emergency must be approved by the Parliament within a period of 2 months. And a financial emergency. Next, let us see the financial emergency. The President can proclaim a financial emergency if financial stability or credit of India or any part thereof is threatened. Then he can use the financial emergency powers. And this proclamation must be approved by the Parliament within 2 months. And next, and financial powers of the President. And what are the financial powers? Let us see. A money bill can be introduced in the Parliament only with the President's recommendations. The President is not recommended. President is not signed. The President is not allowing, and a money bill cannot be introduced in the Parliament. So the President prior recommendation should be needed for introducing the money bill in the Parliament. The Parliament lays the annual financial statement, that is a union budget, before the Parliament. The Parliament lays down the annual financial statement, that is a union budget, before the Parliament. He can make advices out of the contingency fund of India to meet unforeseen expenses. These are the financial powers of the President of India. Now we understood what are the powers and functions of the President of India. Now let us see that the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the real head of the government, and he is taken every major decision in our country with the support of the recommendations of the consulting of the Council of Ministers. And he is the leader of the majority party. And the Prime Minister is appointed by the President of India. But generally, the President has no choice in the appointment of the Prime Minister. He invites the majority party leader to form the government in the Lok Sabha for his office. And what are the qualifications of the Prime Minister? He should be the citizen of India. He should not be less than 25 years of age, and he should not hold any government salaried office, and he should not involved in criminal offences, and these are the important qualifications of the Prime Minister of India. And he is elected. Prime Minister is elected for 5 years. Prime Minister is theoretically hold office during the pleasure of the President. President is not satisfied. President is not satisfied. President is not pleasure. The period and the office of the Prime Minister is not so extended, so that during the pleasure of the President and during the support and of the President only, the Prime Minister can hold his office theoretically, we can say. And let us see that what are the powers and functions of the Prime Minister of India. And we have already seen that the powers and functions of the President, legislative powers, executive powers, like that. Such a way here also. And the powers and functions of the Prime Minister, the powers and functions of the Prime Minister, legislative powers, executive powers, etc. Let us see that. First, legislative powers of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister makes an important policy statement in the parliament, and whatever important statement and policy statement and everything the Prime Minister can put on the table in the parliament, and every major policies, every major decisions, and what they are going to do the welfare of the people, what policies they have taken, what policies they needed, what policies for the welfare of the people, everything, these important major policies and developmental projects and everything which can be make important, these important policies, make important policy statements in the parliament, and he defends the policies of the government in the parliament, and he is the director of the foreign policy, and he is the director of Indian economy, and he is the leader of the Lok Sabha. These are the legislative powers of the, and shortly only I told very shortly. And next, executive powers of the president, and formation of the council of ministers, and formation of the, already we understood the prime minister appoint the president appoint the prime minister, but theoretically the president not appointed the prime minister. He invites the majority party leader to form the council of ministers and prime minister, and to make the council of ministers, and he is not appointing actually theoretically, but actually we can say he is appointing, that's only, and appoints and remove and distributes, appoints, and he appoints the other ministers, and he removes the ministers, and sometimes prime minister is not satisfied, he is not pleased with other ministers, he is not working for the welfare of the people, he is not working properly, the prime minister is not satisfied, he has the right to remove them from the council of ministers, and also he has the right to distribute the portfolios to ministers and department, division of the department. He can give, you can do this work, and he can do, this is your department, this is foreign affairs, this is a financial, this is a human resource, this type of portfolios and department, division of the department. He has the right to distribute the division of the department to the ministers, and he presides the meeting of the cabinet, and he presides over the meeting of the cabinet. Leader of the council of ministers, prime minister is the leader of the council of ministers, and he is the link between the parliament and the president, and other important decisions taken by the, all the major decisions taken by the prime minister of our prime minister of India with the help of the council of ministers in the name of the president, but every decisions are taken by prime minister in the name of the president only. That the president has to sign this, president has to sign, then only this will become law only. And other important functions you can say, they prepare the list for various important appointments such as governors or judges of Supreme Court of India, judges of the High Court of India, and the members of the UPSC chairman, UPSC, and the election commissioner and other election commissioners, ambassadors, etc. These are the important list they are prepared by the Prime Minister of India. Next, let us see the Council of Ministers. A minister must be the member of either house of the parliament. If a person who is not a member of either house of the parliament appointed a minister, and he shall cease to be a minister after 6 months. Within 6 months, he should be the member of the parliament, either Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Without this member, no one can enjoy the council of ministers. So unless in the meanwhile he manages to get elected to either either of the two houses, so he shall cease to be a minister after 6 months, unless in the meanwhile he manages to get elected to either of the two houses. And we understood that in this chapter, this is a very simple chapter only, Union Executive, and we have learned what we have learned. Just we can recall this one, and what consists of the Union Executive. Already we understood President, Vice President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, etc. And what are the powers and functions of the President and the Prime Minister, and we understood. And what are the the executive powers, legislative powers, everything we understood. In the next day we should come with a new topic. Thank you very much.